We're back live once again in the cut, here to recap a somewhat successful week 13 and dive into week 14, our picks and predictions. Um, Week 13, full slate, no bye weeks, interestingly, because I think the Black Friday and the bye week game, or not the Thanksgiving game,
Thanksgiving.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Um, Now this week, I think maybe the last bye week. If not, next week will be, but some teams off this week, so a smaller slate. So let's dive right in. We'll say off the bat, Mikey can't be with us tonight. He is in Connecticut. He's got a trip that he was on to visit his girlfriend. So we will
Oh,
be going without him. We were
kid doesn't have
expecting.
his priorities in order.
I know. I don't know why you can't just podcast. I didn't push the issue. Um, so with that being said, we are waiting on one guest to maybe show up. If not, we'll just roll one-on-one. So coming off last week, big winner of the day, biggest win of the year. We have Cam, 13-3 record.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it was probably my best week, and I took advantage of it. I bet the majority of the games I made on this podcast, and also a few of my Focus Five. Kind of also elaborated day of, but probably the most successful weekend I've had gambling wise. So definitely can't complain.
That's pretty clutch, considering that the NFL usually reams around this time.
Mm,
So me, I was one win over 500, 9-7. We'll take that after a rough couple weeks. Back on over 500 train. Michael 8-8, decent job there. So all of us 500 or above. So we'll try and keep that moving this week. So overall record, I believe Mikey dropped 1% down to 52%. He's 85, 77, and 1. I'm sticking around 55%, 106, 87, and 2. Cam, I believe you went up 1 or 2 percentage points, 88, 58, and 1 for a 60% win rate. That's all you can
wow.
ask for. So,
Hype.
former guest on the show, Mark, still has his 9-7 mark, 56% on his end there. So, with that being said, let's dive right into the week 13 games. We had the 3 Thanksgiving games, starting out with this one, Lions Bears. So, first, were you able to watch all these games, or?
I was. I didn't catch much of the 4 o'clock game, and that was kind of on purpose for Thanksgiving. I don't think I missed much. But yeah, this game was actually pretty entertaining. Obviously close, and then Bonehead moved by Eberflus eventually getting him fired. Also, Caleb didn't really help him out there either. But I was expecting a little bit more from the Lions, but I mean, granted, you think divisional game, it's also kind of funky on Thanksgiving. But yeah, not really much to add other than that.
Yeah, I kind of expected the Bears to cover just because it seems like this slot of like the first Thanksgiving game always ends up being pretty close.
Yeah,
Bears seem to be doing a little bit better. I mean, they've kept
they
this
do.
somewhat close. We'll see what happens next week post Eberflus. But they had a legitimate shot to bring that game to overtime. They also had most of the momentum because the Lions didn't really score much in the second half. So I'm interested to see what this Bears team is moving forward. I think their head coach is going to be pivotal on to see what the success of Caleb Williams will be next season in the future. Lions, I think this is a good spot for them where they kind of lost momentum and still able to pull it off. So that's all I really had from this game. Bears plus 14.5 was a hit.
Yeah,
Moving to the 4 o'clock game, I'm getting a text from our guest. So if you want to leave a, okay, he's gonna be on in 2 minutes. Um,
nice.
this is when I had dinner, so I missed
Yeah,
most of this
same here.
game. At my setup for Thanksgiving, it was like 2 people or like 2 to 3 people could sit in front of the TV, and that was it. So I was like, at this point, I'm like, I'm not trying to watch the second half of this game. I was just sitting in the corner, or whatever. Um, didn't really catch much of this. Seemed like a decent game considering the final score, but I think that was mostly the Giants just coming back at the end. The
Yeah.
Drew Lock legacy game was a complete whiff. I don't know what was up with him. That first half was really ugly. Cowboys have won 2 straight against divisional opponents. What can you say? Sure that.
Yeah, kind of very similar situation. You had barely caught any of this game. Like I said, mainly on purpose. I also had dinner during this, but I don't really know many people unless you're a fan of either of these teams on why you would watch it. Just probably the least implications out of the entire Week 13 slate. So I don't really have much to add other than that. I mean, I'm probably not really going to be putting too much money on either of these teams for the rest of the year. So
Yeah, I don't know what the Giants' situation is at quarterback. I'd like to see him give Drew Lock a shot just so they maybe have like actually interesting games because I'm really not interested in seeing Tommy DeVito play football ever again. But
I
I
have
think
a
this,
funny feeling they might just be tanking and hoping they
yeah,
get either
I was
one or
just
two
gonna say
pick.
I think
And
the Giants
yeah,
might be headed towards the number one pick. I think that would
yeah,
be really interesting. We haven't had a New York team get a number one pick in a while, so we'll see what happens with that. Cowboys will have a primetime game next week as well, so we'll see what happens with them. I don't think Jerry's gonna let them tank. I believe they're headed towards an inevitable coach firing as well, and
yeah.
maybe Bill Belichick as their next head coach. But we'll save all that for another day. Last game on the slate. This was a disappointing one for me. I decided to put my faith in the Dolphins. Mikey was right about the cold weather. I'm done with them in the cold weather. It's until you prove you can do something, I'm not taking it anymore. This was just right off the bat. It was like, what was this? 14-0, 17-0 a
Yeah.
half. Like it was
hmm
just pretty much over.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat. I think it was either Tua is 0-6 or 0-8 in games below 40 degrees. And I feel like that's a little bit harsh on Tua. I feel like the Dolphins are notoriously, like, as a franchise, been bad in cold weather, and that's just the nature of it. Kind of similar to dome teams playing in cold weather. But I mean, I've been very supportive of the Packers throughout the entirety of the season, and they just continue to prove me right on a lot of these games. I think matchup of the week, if not kind of going head to head with the Chargers in Kansas City. But nice little Thursday night matchup between them and the Lions too. I'm excited for that, but we'll obviously go into that more in the next segment.
Yes. Our guest has joined us, but just got from the desk, so we can't comes back in to patch him in. So let's move ahead to Black Friday. This was a fun game, man.
That was a high. This is one of my favorite games, honestly, of the entire
yeah, I
weekend.
think this might have been the best game of the weekend. Really unfortunate ending. I think that I missed, like, there was a million people on Twitter calling for the missed penalty on the Chiefs. I guess they like jumped the gun on that last play. Another boneheaded end of this
Yeah,
game decision by O'Connell and Antonio Pierce. But what can you expect? I got to give props to Aiden O'Connell. He was slinging it, man. And Brock Purdy, he's for real, dude. He might be the best tight end in the league already.
you
Like,
mean Bowers, but yeah, I agree.
what did I just say? I'm getting my names
Purdy.
mixed up. Okay, yeah, Brock Bowers.
You're good. No, but yeah, I agree, and I just like I feel like it's easy to say that, especially being a Patriots fan, it's fun to root against the Chiefs. But as we've kind of mentioned all year, they find ways to win. I think we all picked. Did we all pick the Raiders on the spread on this one? Because I
I
think it was
believe
pretty
so.
high.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I
12
just
and a
think
half, 13.
whenever they're involved in these massive spreads, they, like we said ad nauseum, they play to the competition, and it just kind of seemed like a no brainer, especially in a funky like Black Friday game at 3 o'clock. But yeah, I mean, I watched like the end of it from a bar, and it was just classic. Like somehow the Chiefs just get bailed out by terrible late game management by the other team, but. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I like the Chiefs to win games, but they're very difficult to bet on with the spread. So
Indeed, and now we'll patch him in. Welcome to the show for the first time.
Mr. Cam Fane,
On the NFL stream.
Oh, how are we, boys?
You're in the
how's it
Cheers.
dark,
going?
bro.
Dude, is that
Well,
a
I didn't.
Lamar Jackson jersey?
Best player in the NFL.
Oh wow.
Best player in the NFL.
Coming
Lamar
out hot.
Jackson. Oh man, I'm big.
Yeah.
How you boys doing? Yeah, Chiefs
Chilling.
Raiders.
How
That was
you
a good
doing?
game. That was kind of watching it in real time, and I watched it with no volume. I had no idea what was going on at the end. I was like, "Why is?" It's just like, "Oh, okay, Chiefs ball." It looked like a
Yeah.
meme. It looked like one of those memes where it's like the refs are like, "All right, here you go, Chiefs. There's the win. We'll just hand it right to you."
Yeah, just
What
That
poor
was
was
a
game
little ridiculous.
management.
what was the missed penalty? Because everyone was talking about it on Twitter.
I didn't see that either, honestly.
It was
I
like I think it was illegal shift, which I didn't know you can, or like one of those plays that they're supposed to stop before the play starts. But apparently
oh,
you can like go back and decline the penalty if you're a defensive team.
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
So, any spare thoughts on the Thanksgiving games? We kind of ran through them already, all three of the.
The Bears game was pretty fun. The Cowboys Giants game, obviously no one cares.
hmm
Right.
And I don't know, I guess the Dolphins just aren't that good. Or the Packers. I think the
Cold
Packers
weather.
defense is legit. I think the Packers defense is just legit.
All right. What do you have? Like a triple monitor setting going on up there?
Yeah, I'm pulling
Respect.
FanDuel over here.
All right. All right. We'll keep it moving to Sunday, 1 p.m. we had this game, and my rage for the Falcons is unmatched. Previously, they were on the nether region. They are permanently banned. They're done. I'm done with the Falcons, bro. I'm never touching them again. They've crossed the ether. Every time I decide to bet on them, they fuck it up. So I'm done with them. I've seen enough. Kirk Cousins is a good guy, and he's earned my respect over the past year or two, but I can't with this team anymore. Every time I am going to trust them, you're at home. The Chargers on a 10 o'clock body clock game. Kirk threw 3 or 4 picks. This was just a disgusting performance. I'm done with this team. I hope the Bucs win the NFC South. I was trying to look to take a future on the Bucs to win the NFC South. Couldn't find anywhere, but I don't know. Maybe that was just because it was Sunday. I hope the Falcons miss the playoffs. I hope they are permanently just the Falcons. I'm done with them. The Chargers, are about as expected. Turns out they can still win games without J.K. Dobbins. I don't know. I ran over. If someone else wants to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Chargers from the get-go. I think my logic was more just going with a better coach team, even though for all the reasons you said, kind of funky, 10 a.m. body clock start on the road. But now I might just, whatever you pick for the Falcons, I might just go the exact opposite way. And that might be my saving grace with that game. So thankfully I had the Chargers in this one. I mean, kind of a gross game, but overall. But yeah, better coach team ended up winning.
Yeah, I agree with everything Cam said there. But the hindsight right there is genius. But yeah, I mean, the Chargers, the better team, better coach team. Me and Mr. Dubcast were actually watching this game together. Both rooting for the Falcons. Both felt like complete morons.
Tough.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, Baker's way more fun. You want to see him. At this point, it's like, all right, fuck the Falcons.
Yeah,
We want to see
I do
Baker
like
in the
that.
playoffs, not
That's
Kirk.
a nice future W on the Bucs NFC South.
I wish I took it before last week because they're like now they're only like either a game behind or they have the same record.
Yeah, the Falcons beat them twice, so they have to.
Oh, true. I forgot about that part. But the Falcons have a tough schedule. They've welcomed the Vikings this week. We'll get to that game, but the Bucs I think the Bucs might have the easiest schedule remaining when I was watching that game. Anyways, enough with this one. On to another one that bamboozled me. The Steelers just put up, what was this, 782 points total? Am I doing math correctly?
Yeah.
Just an absurd performance. If you want to kick us off, Cam, on this one.
We got 2 Cams, but yeah.
The one who goes by Cam.
I had the Steelers from the get-go on this. I loved them at plus money. I think I mentioned last week, I didn't really understand. I thought the line should have been flipped, even though the Steelers were on the road. Kind of the same logic. I just thought the Steelers overall have been much more consistent and just a better team. And I ended up getting them at plus 3.5. I took them actually on the money line in some parlays, which ended up hitting for me. But yeah, I was kind of surprised they could put up that amount of points, but now they've proven that they can do that.
Yeah. Cam, are you frozen? I mean, Rat, are you frozen?
No, I mean, that game was ridiculous. From the jump, the Bengals couldn't stop them at all. I mean, the Steelers could do whatever they wanted. Joe Burrow's amazing. I thought that how well he's been playing, and he did play well again. I thought that he would be able to get a win over the Steelers, but the Steelers, I mean, they just ripped through him. The Bengals defense was horrible. That was like the worst defensive game I've seen all year out of any team. They did whatever they wanted.
Zach Taylor out of there? If they continue to lose like that?
They didn't make the playoffs last year. I mean, last year was a pretty good year for the Bengals, considering that Burrow went out like mid-season. You bring in Jake Browning, still like they were like a game or two out of the playoffs. I say you give them another year. Like they made a Super Bowl. What was that 2 or 3 years ago? That's just my opinion. I mean, it could be very reactionary. The Bengals don't seem to me like a team that's going to be quick to fire. I think their owner's a little cheap, so we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out, but I'm not expecting it. I don't know who you get in there to fix that. I guess they kind of just need a culture reset, but I don't know. I think the Bengals they just need to figure out how to win like a game in the first 3 weeks, and they'll literally be fine next year, but we'll see. Steelers, I don't know what to say about this team. I guess I'll just have to trust them. I'm taking too many times trying
Russ looks good.
I know.
Looks good.
Is.
Believe it or not.
He's cooking.
Let Russ cook. I always like Russ, so I'll let it happen. Next game. Now, Texans beat the Jags by 3. We had either 3.5 or 4 on the Jags. So this will be a very heated podcast because we have two very big Mac Jones fans on the pod. So the battle for Mac's super fandom will have to take place here. But wasn't expecting to see Mac Jones, but the hit heard around the league. Al Shazier, whatever. Here we go. Change the wardrobe.
There we
already.
go. Love it.
Now we're talking. Now we're in stride.
So big hit. I kind of thought this was a big overreaction. Like things kind of just like that's really the big takeaway from this whole game was just the big hit. Like everyone's acting like, oh my god, how could he hit him like that? Like it's football. Like things like that are gonna happen.
I don't know what you want him to do there, honestly, but.
Well, it's really it sucks for Trevor because it's like he was just sliding and like maybe he kind of fakes that a little early, but the whole culture of the NFL has been trying to protect the quarterback and protect the head or whatever. So when Mahomes is always doing his bullshit, like faking going out of bounds and staying in bounds for extra yards, it's like we got to hit the guy when we can, you know. So obviously he gets thrown out. He's apparently just got suspended 3 games. He's appealing. We'll see what happens. From an actual game perspective, Texans continue to be a team that can't really cover. Jags, I think, are one of the best teams at covering. I'd like to see their numbers. It feels like they're always losing by 1 possession. You're shaking your head, Rat. No, you disagree?
What? They're 2-10.
All right. Well, they cover the spread. Let's look at their losses.
Yeah, typically they have a pretty wide spread on them. I don't mind. Like this team doesn't look that dramatically different between Lawrence at the helm and Mac Jones. I know Lawrence is much more talented, dude. Mac Jones kept them in that game in the second half, and
that was the only good game Max played when he's come in.
Still, I don't know. I like Mac Jones, and especially we'll get into it a little bit more this week coming up, seeing how they're playing somebody that's on the ban list. So I'm curious to see who you pick on in that game. But this one, I think the Jaguars scored kind of like a garbage time touchdown late to make it within that spread. But like you said, the Texans are kind of notoriously known for not covering the spread. I think they just kind of different ways, but they're similar to the Chiefs in that they don't really give a shit about blowing teams out. They just want to win the game. Which is, I guess, good if you want to make the playoffs, but terrible if you want to bet on them. So kind of be weary of that moving forward.
All right, ready? Here's the Dolphins' losses this year. I mean, not the Jaguars' losses this year. Lost the Dolphins 3 points. Lost the Browns 5 points. Lost the Bills by 37. Lost the Texans 4 points. Lost the Bears by 19. Lost the Packers by 3 points. Lost the Eagles by 5. Lost the Vikings by 5. Lost to the Lions by 46. Lost the Texans by 3. So, you know, that other than those pretty 2 big lopsided losses, like they're in there. I don't know. I kind of trust the Jags as a cover spot. Did you have any extra thoughts from this game, Rad, or?
I mean, Mac looked amazing. We were talking about it because again we were there watching together. We were talking about it. He's been on a team with just horrible offenses. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is good, and you see him. He's running around there, and you look at every play. They're like, let's throw it 35 yards down the field every single play.
Yeah,
and they do nothing, and that's why they're 2-10 because their play calling is horrible. I don't know. I mean, I've only seen a few games this year. I don't really know how that's still going on or what their coaching situation is, but I don't even think Trevor Lawrence is bad. Mac Jones obviously is not bad. I don't know.
I definitely think it's coaching related, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see a change even before the season ends. I think that concussion, I know it's not good to report, but I think it's a perfect time for Trevor to kind of punt on the year and let the front office figure out what they want to do with the coaching staff and then come back with a brand new mindset and hopefully a culture. But yeah.
There's no need for him to play for the rest of the year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Trevor's he's always trying to rush back. Like last year, that fucked them over because they were in the 1 seed at one point last year. This year, he keeps getting hurt. Now he's rushing back. It's like, bro, just sit out. You're 2-10. Take the rest of this time. I agree with you guys there. Also, we'll note Christian Kirk out for the year. Gabe Davis out for the year. I think both those happened before Mac came in. So I do agree. Mac has not really had the right system. I told you, him and Bryce Young will play in a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. So we'll see what happens.
I love that. If I could take a future on that.
I originally thought Bryce Young would get traded. It looks like he's going to be on the Panthers still because he's playing a lot better, but so that might not come to fruition. But I think Mac, he's going to sign with the 49ers. He's going to ream. I've had that thought in my head for a long time. So the crowd is with us tonight, the chat. First question on the board is going to first-time guest Rat. Rat, rate your home friends. I don't really know what this means, but if you have an answer to
Greg
this.
Small, shout out TikToker.
Yep.
Greg, get a new haircut. That's all I gotta say about that.
Damn. All right.
I don't know if that play was so dirty. I know you guys talked about it. I want to see a VR, 2034 season, a VR where you're running and you see Trevor Lawrence there, and you
What are
have
you
to
supposed
like,
to do? Yeah,
you're already starting to tackle him because if there's a quarterback that's a runner, you're trying to smoke him every time.
exactly.
Like if I'm seeing Drake May running like a moron out there, like I'm just going for his knees or whatever. I don't care.
You have to fucking. They want you to
This is
dolphin
football.
dive over him like in
Yeah.
COD.
Yeah,
He's already horizontal. He's like not already horizontal, but he's about to be going horizontal.
Yeah, and
3
I
game
don't get.
suspension is ridiculous.
And I love the funniest thing is how everyone on Twitter is like, dude, back in the old day, we used to hit so hard. And it's like all these clips of like Ed Reed. And then as soon as this happens, everyone's like, ban football. Like, we need to play flag. Like, this is the dirtiest hit of all time. It's like, dude, pick a fucking slam, bro.
yeah.
All right, more comments in the chat. Greg Small is now replying. Rat, can we go back to Miami together again? No, McGann. Quick answer.
Yeah. Hit me up. Slide my DMs.
LMFAO in your response, he says, wow, thought Rat liked me sad.
All right. And that's Greg Small.
All
All
right.
right.
We'll keep it moving. Not really anything to reply to there. This one was interesting. I think you and Mikey both
Absolute
picked.
sweat.
I think you and Mikey both picked the Vikings to cover. I did take the Cardinals because I saw that 3.5. This was a weird one because the Cardinals were up like 2 possessions the whole time, and then the Vikings just come back at the last second. Pretty interesting game. I don't know. This one wasn't really one of our priorities watching, but it seemed like it was kind of a good game to watch. I don't know, Cam. Well, this was part of you hit a big parlay, correct?
Yeah, I had a 5-leg parlay. It was 60 to win. I think it was $1,200, and this was the game I was most stressed out about. But we already covered it. The Steelers. I also had the Chargers, and then I had the Vikings, and I also had the Jets, and there was one other team too that I'm blanking on, but we covered that already. But anyways, yeah, this was the last game. This and the Jets game that I was absolutely tweaking about. The Vikings kind of showed me a lot by coming back by that deficit, like you said, in the second half. Would have wished they came out earlier and played like a more consistent game throughout, but I don't know. Like, I think this team, like, I think they get overlooked with Sam Darnold at quarterback. But I mean, when you look at their record and the teams that they beat, like, I think they're a pretty good football team. I know it's gonna be tough coming out of the NFC North, but I mean, if you're a wild card team, you're not gonna play a team in the NFC North, most likely. So I don't know. We'll see what they can do moving forward.
Rat, anything to add?
This was a kind of good game. The first half was just tied. It was like 3-3, 6-6, field goals, field goals. And then it seemed like Kyler and the Cardinals pulled it away, but I don't know. The Vikings are good. No, you can't hate on the Vikings. When you come back and win a game like that, it shows that you can win. You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who you're playing.
Now that you bring that up, that does kind of show me a lot about the Vikings. I kind of looked them at this like fraudulent level with only 2 losses. Like, but maybe they are legit. I mean, that defense is legit for sure.
Yeah.
Coming from the crowd, I want to reply. Here's your reply. Now,
Dub 1.
Nice.
Everyone else, who cares? They don't have podcasts.
Exactly. All right, on to the hometown team. This week we have 3 Patriots fans on the pod. First time for that. Usually we have Mikey being not hypocritical, but just being a critical Jets fan of the Patriots. He was putting a lot of slander on our name actually last episode. I was listening back. I don't know what that was about, but this was obviously a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
You want to jump us out, Cam? I don't know what I was with Rat, so I saw his reaction, but what was your instant reaction to this game?
I was with my dad watching this game, and I thought we were going to get kicked out of the sportsbook for how loud he was being. But, yeah, obviously, as a Patriots fan, you hope they pull that one out. Kind of brutal way to end the game. And then, obviously, you get the 60, I think it was 8-yard field goal attempt that looked actually pretty good off the foot. And then, obviously, it's just too long for him. But, I don't know. Like, this game doesn't really tell me anything about either team for the rest of the year. I think the Patriots just kind of need to focus on the offseason, rebuild, and they might be like that for a little bit too. I mean, it's very apparent that we're extremely weak on the offensive line and wide receiver core. So, but definitely places to address, and I don't think the Colts are anything special either. So, won't be utilizing them in a lot of my bets moving on for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, seems like what Drake May has been able to do with, like you said, the offensive line and the wide receiver. I mean, the wide receivers are so bad. They played actually all right this week, but
yeah, it's more just those tight ends he relies on. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Hunter and Hooper, but you need something else. You need something more dynamic.
Well, the thing that me and Dub were going crazy about was there were 2 times when Mayo should have challenged. One time he did. It took him about
Yeah.
8 minutes longer than it should have. And the other time it was like 3rd and 10. They throw an incomplete pass for 7 yards. They call it complete. One look at the replay, it takes a half second. No doubt it's incomplete. That would have been 4th and 10. You win the game. You win the game there if you just challenge that. I mean, not really, but like 4th and 10
Yeah.
versus 4th and 3 is huge.
It's all about reps, yeah. Yeah, I think that's getting overlooked because, of course, Mayo's just saying a bunch of shit post game. On the wide receiver end, I kept saying to Rat, like, Demario Douglas is going to be a really good like wide receiver 3 for us in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then Booty could be like a 4 or 5 guy. But yeah, Hunter Henry, unfortunately, he gave that pick away. Like, he's been so good all year. It's hard to get mad at him, but that was a rough one right in the end zone. Hooper's been somewhat of a revelation just because he's doing more than you'd expect, but it's not really like a crazy offense that they have going. So, hoping tackle, wide receiver, first 2 picks. Doesn't matter the order in the draft. I'll read off their schedule. I don't think there's any wins left here. We have in Arizona, off a bye. Maybe they go out west early. Maybe they could surprise. I think that's the one we're looking at now to win.
Yeah.
And then you have at the Bills the week after. That seems like that's been going poorly the last couple of years. Chargers come here. Don't see us really like outrunning them or anything. And then the last week against the Bills is probably the big one to circle because they could just be benching everyone depending on the situation. But
yeah,
we might end the season with 3 wins, and that'd be really disappointing because I was hoping that at least have a couple more wins than last year. But I don't know. I think we're going to have to see Mayo out the door before we realize winning's culture.
I actually liked him in the beginning, and now I don't know if it's just the losing or the way that we're losing, but I also don't think I'm not as high on him as I was earlier, but I definitely don't think this is all a Mayo problem. I mean, we've talked about it. I think it's a lot of personnel changes need to be made. So
no, I agree. Yeah, I don't think it's a Mayo problem, but I don't ultimately, from what I've seen from the season so far, I don't think Mayo will be the head coach that leads us to where we need to be. Especially considering he's a defensive coach. All right, more comments from the crowd. Do you think that hit on Lawrence was due to hormones? I'm not really sure what this is referring to.
I don't know either.
Any thoughts, Rat?
Can we get some mods in the chat? Do you have to do every single one of these comments?
I made a promise.
I've seen you do some of mine before, and I'm like, why is he even putting that up there?
Do you think Anthony Richardson can't throw because of a specific reason? I think I might ban you for this. I don't know.
Are you allowed to say?
This comment seems a little racially.
Yeah, this is a PC broadcast.
Yeah, it's a center-left podcast.
Right. Why do you want Mayo out so bad? The leaking of source information. He told the media that Mayo was starting before he told the team. He's really bad in post-game press conferences. He doesn't realize what he's doing.
He is really bad at it. Okay, it's kind of tough.
He doesn't understand what he's doing, with the media at all. He needs media training. The defense is supposed to be the best part of this team. They can't stop the run for anything. Need I go on? I don't know.
One of my big things for Mayo is he seems like one of those coaches that just doesn't know what's going on when he's on the sidelines. When you think about McVay or Pete Carroll, they're always fired up and they're just in it and they're know what's going on. Even Bill Belichick, he was slow, but you could tell that he was completely there. Mayo, sometimes it's he's just kind of dozing.
Brain dead. It looks like he has those eyes that look like they're looking right through you. I'm
which maybe is not he's probably focused, but just looking like that is a bad look,
Yeah. So clarification, that wasn't supposed to be racist. Wow, you guys have a dirty mind. Okay, you let us know what the specific reason is you're referring to then. We'll keep it moving here. We're too long on this. All right. Unfortunately, Michael's not here to join us. Would love to see his reaction. He picks the Jets and they lose again. I think that's undefeated every time he picks the Jets, they lose. This one, unfortunately, we had 5 games on our TVs. This was not one of them until the end. So, Cam, if you want to tell us the tale of this game, we can kind of just breeze through.
Yeah, the Jets dominated throughout the first half, and then all of a sudden it was just this flip of the switch. So Rodgers throws a pick six, a 90-yard pick six to a defensive lineman going back in coverage, and I think it was second or third and goal. And from there, it's just completely switched. The Jets looked like they had no momentum, and they were still up, I believe, 2 scores when it happened. It was just a crazy game, just watching them fall apart like that. Just the same old Jets finding ways to lose, but I don't know. I'm not I've been very anti NFC West on this podcast throughout the entire year. I don't know, kind of still the same. I know it's a massive comeback for the Seahawks, but at the same time, it's against the Jets who clearly haven't done anything this season. So don't really know how much you want to put into that game. But
I kind of like the Seahawks team. I mean, this is, like you said, it's not really like a win that's like, oh my God, the Seahawks, but it's like the fact they were able to go cross coast, like 10 o'clock body clock game and pull that comeback off. I think that's pretty impressive. JSN has seemed to be a revelation this year. You know, he's the opposite of a sophomore slump. He's really showing out in his sophomore season. The Jets are just a dumpster fire, so this isn't much of a big win, but just like kind of the notion of how they won this game, it was impressive to me. And I don't know who's going to come out of this rat race, dare I say, in the NFC West. It seems like it's really like the 49ers I kept saying was the team I'd expect to come out of there, but it looks like they're really not gonna. So I'm interested to see between the Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks who can kind of grab that first place and run with it. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be the Rams, but who knows? Any spare thoughts?
Cardinals playing the Seahawks this week.
Yeah, and we can talk about it when next. Well, we'll talk about it next week. The point I'm going to make. So, any spare thoughts on this one, Rad? Or
no? I mean, that was a cool. You love it when a big man gets like a pick six like that. That was cool.
Yeah,
I like that play.
Right. I didn't even think you even saw that.
I saw the clips on Snapchat. Good.
Okay, cool. Oh wait, before we have a comment to address, he just has a noodle. That's what he was saying about Anthony Richardson. Yes, Anthony Richardson, known for having a very bad deep arm. I think you just lost this with that one. All right. This one did not touch a TV all day. 21-0 jump out. I mean, this is kind of just a simple one. We can just run through really quickly. The Commanders seem to that bounce back spot, like we mentioned on the pod last week. All right, we don't need to do the we're just gonna run it through. Seem to be a good bounce back spot for them. They get through, go up super big, Titans, garbage time, touchdowns. I mean, really, this is what I was expecting. I didn't even expect it to be this bad, but anything from this game seems like kind of straightforward.
Yeah, complete domination by Skins. Don't really much to add. Bill Levis coming
Redskins,
in, though.
Yeah. The Redskins just, I mean, they have a great offense. They've blown out a ton of bad teams this year.
Yeah, they are good at that. They'll definitely beat up on teams that they should beat up on. It's more when I'm concerned on when they play actual competitive teams later on in the year, especially in the playoffs. But
yeah, Dub was saying that this past weekend is like when they're in the playoffs, I'm just going to hammer whoever they're playing against.
Fair.
That's probably a good play.
Yeah, agreed.
They'll probably be like a 5 or 6 seed and just.
Well, the tough thing about the NFC is there's only those 3 spots up for grabs because you have the NFC North teams.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They might fucking play the
Yeah, they could play the Seahawks.
Whoever comes out of the NFC West.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And then it's like it's still kind of a shitty team. Like, do you want to take them over the Skins? Right. I don't know.
No, I don't think the Commanders have like 4 or 5 losses. The Vikings have 2 losses. The Packers have 3. So as of right now, I think they'll just be a division matchup. Oh wait, no, because
that's what I'm saying. They would play like one of the divisional leaders in the first week.
The NFC, we'll see, because the NFC South is bad as well, so they might be bailed out. But it depends on if they get that 6 or 7. All right, we'll keep it moving. 4 o'clock window, current hometown team for Mr. Cam. You were not in attendance. You're still with us up in the Northeast, but any takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I had a couple of buddies that went to the game, and he went to this one. And then he also went to the Chiefs game as well. That was in Charlotte. And recently it's been quite a different crowd. Typically, like, especially in the beginning of the season when Bryce Young looked like shit. And then even when Andy Dalton was there, other than his one win, like the crowd was never really into it. But people were like at this game, like kind of a big matchup in the division, even though the Panthers don't really expect to be doing much the rest of the year. They kind of remind me a little bit of this Bears team after like firing the offensive coordinator. They've actually looked pretty decent in offense and keeping games competitive. I know it's NFC, it's a divisional game at home, but typically I think we all picked the Bucs on this one, if I'm not mistaken. But
no, you and Mikey actually picked the Panthers. I picked the Bucs.
Oh, we did? Yeah. I mean, I just like the way that this team's been looking recently, and sure, they're probably not going to end up with a couple more wins, but I think they're a good cover machine. And they got the biggest spread of the week coming up, too, against the Eagles. So we'll see. But, yeah, this was a different team.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The past few weeks, the Panthers have been playing really well. And when you see Bryce Young, a young guy who's supposed to be good and wasn't, and you see him kind of getting fired up, getting good, that's got to hype up a city a bit. Especially, like, anything will get Panthers fans excited at this point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this was a sweat for me. I needed the Bucks to win as part of the last leg of my parlay. Luckily, the overtime, I swear, I thought that kicker was going to miss both those kicks to go into overtime and to win in overtime.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen, big touchdown. Mikey mentioned him last week. So I like what this
He did.
Panthers team's building. You know, if Bryce Young's able to play this way, that they can, and Chuba's good, like need a couple more pieces on offense and defense, and they'll maybe be somewhat confident next year. So I'm excited for that. Like you guys mentioned, kind of, it's not really looking like it's going to amount to anything this year, but they could be an interesting team to watch for covering, especially since Vegas seems to not like them at all. So we'll keep it moving. Another game, Rams Saints. This one was a pretty good game, back and forth, low scoring for most of the game. My Rams, I've had faith in them for a while. Luckily, they pulled this one out. It seemed a little bit desperate at times. Taysom Hill, torn ACL, unfortunately. You know, I kind of come around on him. I kind of like watching Taysom Hill play, but the Saints team, I don't know what's really there is to look forward to. I was thinking about it today. Like, I don't know if Derek Carr is going to be their quarterback next year. And if he's not, I don't know what that situation is going to be. I think that's going to be something to watch. But what were your guys' takeaways from this game, if anything? Kind of went how I expected. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you, did you watch any of the games after you left?
No, I came back and saw the end of what was like other game that was like kind of close.
Eagles Ravens maybe.
Yeah,
I did
That
watch
was
some of
the
the Eagles Ravens game. But there was another game that was kind of close.
the Bucks game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't like touching the Saints team with a 10-foot pole. This kind of seems like a easy layup going with the Rams, even though, as I've mentioned plenty of times, don't like any of the teams in the NFC West, but don't really understand the Saints and kind of the reasoning behind their lines. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that Vegas team where they just get relatively lines that don't make any sense, where they make it seem like they're going to keep it in a close game, but they never really do. I agree with you. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they do in the offseason. I assume they're going to look for a new head coach. And then also at the quarterback position, they might want to bring in their own guy. I don't know if that means going through the draft or free agency, but should be something to look forward to in the offseason.
For sure. Now, what was supposed to be the game of the week, also, did Brady just get Sunday off? Because there was no Tom Brady game on Sunday unless he was on at 1 o'clock.
He did the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
Maybe they just called it that, and then they're like, whatever.
That's what I meant. Like, he only had that game, and then he just got Sunday off.
Yeah, maybe.
But, I mean, this was supposed to be the game of the week. Kind of a disappointment because, I mean, Rat, you were wearing the Lamar jersey earlier. I don't know what happened here. I think this is the Justin Tucker downfall game where it's like now he's really starting to cost you games. Like, I don't know what the answer is here. Do you cut him? He's still like good. I think he's better than most NFL kickers, so I'm not ready to ship him away yet. But I mean, this is kind of the big takeaway from that game. I mean, you make those 2 field goals that he missed, and you win this game. I mean, just by the math. But I don't know. Obviously, the Eagles, I've been totally wrong on them. They've been dominant running the ball. They've been able to really just become one of the best teams in the NFL, and no one expected that considering their rocky end of the season last year. So, Rat, we'll start with you. What's your takeaway on this one as a Lamar fan and pseudo Ravens fan, maybe?
Kind of a Ravens fan. More just a Lamar guy. Lamar's just my guy. I tuned into this game like late in the third quarter. Watched like 5 or 6 minutes of it. The Eagles got like -2 yards. Then they punted it, and the Ravens were kind of driving. And then the announcer goes, "It's like the beginning of the fourth quarter, and it's like the Eagles have 3 yards in the second half." And the Ravens just did nothing with that. The Eagles have 3 yards in the second half, and you're Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Like, you have to win that game every single time. This is like another thing where you look at that and you say, okay, this is why they haven't won any playoff games, any big playoff games, and why they're not going to. It's because I don't even know. I don't know what happened there. I didn't see the very end because it was 24-12 and I turned it off. But
I had the Eagles. This was one of my more confident picks of the week. So this was actually a pretty good moneymaker. I also had Jalen Hurts score a touchdown. I don't know what it is. It's just that obviously Lamar and Derek are so talented. I think they're still trying to figure out how to like efficiently utilize both of them in a way that it's good for the team as opposed to each of them individually. I don't know though, because I kind of feel like the Ravens have been similar to the Bills, where they typically dominate in the regular season, then they end up choking in the playoffs to the Chiefs. And maybe this is kind of a tide turner. Like maybe the fact that they're playing inconsistent football right now, for some reason, it's just the reverse factor. And maybe they're the team that knocks off Patrick Mahomes and they come out of the AFC. They definitely have the talent to do it. It's just more, can they all play together? I don't know. We'll see. But I kind of agree with Dub. I like this Eagles team. Going into the next segment, though, they're also similar to the Chiefs where they kind of play to their competition. So, and they're the biggest spread of the week. But
We'll talk
I
about that
digress.
game when it happens.
Yeah.
We'll keep it moving. Sunday night, disappointment, man. I had the James Cook McCaffrey parlay going for some Sunday night touchdown. McCaffrey dives on his thing. He's out for the year. I mean, I thought the 49ers, this would be the game. The ship has sailed for me for the 49ers. Unfortunately, I think they're going to miss the playoffs because the NFC is so stacked, which is crazy to say. But, I mean, I think this was supposed to be that last year of that Super Bowl team, really, the core altogether. And I think that's going to be dismantled. They're going to have to pay Brock Purdy. I don't know what the future is for the 49ers. It's sad. I think no one would really be mad if the 49ers had won one of the last 2 or 3 Super Bowls. I mean, you have last year, they lose to the Chiefs in overtime. 2 years ago, Purdy gets hurt in the NFC Championship game. 3 years ago, or a couple more than that, they lost the Chiefs. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. But it's a sad end to this team. I think, everyone likes the 49ers, but unfortunately, I'm ready to declare them dead. I'm declaring them and the Bengals dead. Those have been the 2 teams that I'm like, they're going to make it back. But it just seems like this 49ers team is not going to be part of the picture this year, which is sad. But reality with the Bills, I don't know. I really am hoping and really hoping that this is the year the Bills or the Ravens can pull it off and beat the Chiefs. We will see, though. What were your takeaways from this game? Did you guys watch this game, turn it off at halftime?
I watched all of it. I loved Buffalo from the get-go, from the podcast last week. Kind of with you in the same boat, declaring 49ers dead. I also had Cook and Allen to score. I thought to play that for Allen to get to his first touchdown off the pitch from Cooper was kind of wild, especially in that weather to have the balls to do that. I don't know. I think this Bills team can make a run and potentially knock off Patty, but obviously you got to get into that situation. Would be much easier if they are playing in Buffalo, I think. But obviously you got to win out, I think, in order to make sure you have that 1 seed. So.
Yeah. This game was a lot of fun. I mean, snow game's so fun. Towards the end, it was kind of like, all right, it's over. But
yeah,
when you're seeing a snow game like that, it was so much fun to watch. That play was kind of crazy. I thought, I don't know. It was kind of weird how they didn't blow it dead. Like he was being tackled backwards.
Yeah,
for 2 seconds. He was being tackled back for 2 seconds, and then he threw it to him. I was like,
it felt like it was going
weird.
in slow motion. I was like, are they gonna blow the whistle? Like, what's going on? But
yeah, but that was a fun game, and I'm not ready to say the 49ers are dead yet. I think.
Really?
I mean, I think they could make the playoffs. I don't think that they're like a threat to anybody. Like, I don't think they're gonna make.
Jordan Mason hurt, McCaffrey hurt. I think they need to win NFC West at this point.
They got the Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Lions, and Cardinals. They go 4-1. They're 9-8.
Yeah, if they do,
there's
maybe one or two wins in there. I don't know. I'm out on them. We'll see. I mean, anything could be correct. So we actually have a very special family that has been joining us in the stream. So first we have Nate says Josh Allen is the baddest of them all. You guys can address this. I need to pull up something on my Instagram. Anything on this?
I don't know. I've been a notorious Josh Allen hater, but I feel like that's more just because he plays in our division as a Patriots fan. He definitely had some ball security issues earlier on in his career, but he definitely looks more mature and just like more of a leader, I think. And I don't know, like we've just said, like it's kind of more you just want someone to knock down Patrick at least once. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Josh Allen's fun to watch, but there is that thing where he's in our division, and it's like,
yeah, exactly. You don't want to root for that, but
yeah.
I mean, it's better than watching Patrick win 3 in a row. So.
Oh, definitely.
So, wait, I just ran out of time on Instagram.
Tough.
We actually received a fan question or / comment from Finn and Penny, dogs of Nate Tellier. Brees Hall been stinking. Think he comes through soon. Your takes on that?
I don't know. I just think
fantasy segment of the week.
Dead. Yeah, I just think the Jets are dead. I don't know whether that be Brees, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. I just think their whole team's just absolutely deflated, and just hoping the offseason couldn't come sooner enough.
Yeah, anytime I hear the Jets, it's just sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Another sad year for them. It's like Rodgers has been here the whole time. It's like, it's deflating, really. It's like,
yeah, it is.
Last year was like, what if we had Rodgers? And this year it's like, we have Rodgers, and you guys are. Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, so I'm replying on Instagram right now, but I'm saying I hope so. I have him in like 3 leagues. I don't know. I was actually considering benching him in one of my leagues, fantasy segment of the week, but we'll see. Braylon Allen, I don't know. They kind of seem to want to use him. It's kind of a situation where it's like you have a younger guy. I think Braylon Allen's like 22. Bring him in, fresh legs, all that. So I'm hoping the best for Brees Hall as well. Maybe a breakthrough for some fantasy championships out there. To the owner of Finn and Penny Instagram account, and thank you, Finn and Penny, for your comment. Okay,
Wait,
last game.
Is that Nate's dad or is that Nate?
I think it's Nate's dad because Russell Tellier also subscribed on YouTube during the stream. So thank you, Russell Tellier. Last game of the week, we had Broncos Browns. This was a fun one, unfortunately. So a little story time in this one. I'm down here with a monitor to my right. I'm a little small monitor. I was helping someone with something. They're over my house. I go upstairs because I'm like, oh, I'll just watch the rest of this game in my bed. Roku remote is down here from Sunday. Did not feel like going down 2 floors, so I missed the end of this game. But it seemed fun. I mean, I watched like a good 3.5 quarters of it. It seemed like a really good game. Broncos do end up covering. Jameis, obviously one of the more fun quarterbacks to watch. So any takeaways from this game before we head into week 14?
I didn't see any of this game, but it seems kind of like a classic Jameis game. Like watching the recap, it was just like pick, and he probably had like 300 yards. Like that's just what Jameis does, and it's electric football. And I'm mad that I missed it. That's all I gotta say.
Cam, you've gone dark on us. Any comments in this game?
I think Cam's out.
He lose internet or something? All right. The show must go on. So, he's back.
Yo, sorry. My UNC Wilmington just tried to get me to donate, and I told them to fuck off. So, no, I completely agree. I watched the first half of this game, but I watched the highlights basically as soon as I woke up. Crazy. Just definition of James game, definitely entertaining, but I just think he's an absolute cartoon character. Like I can't I'm also like I just think it's more like funny as in like a clown, not like I'm actually like I like Jameis Winston. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Broncos have kind of been surprising me. Like I know they're kind of beating up on teams that they should be playing or should be beating, but I mean, I don't like they're in the playoffs right now if it were to end today. So do they get absolutely murdered in the first round? Very possible, but I don't know. As long as you get in the dance, something can happen.
That is true. Now, before we head into our week 14, the aforementioned Russell Tellier has joined us in the chat. He says Nate doesn't watch football. Wife won't let him. Nate, I forgot to put the link in. If anyone wants to join and call in, Nate, you can address these allegations. I will say on Nate's end, he has been sending a picture or two of the Sunday night game. He probably just like watches a drive to pretend like he's actually watching. We'll see. I don't know if he could answer a quiz on like 10 NFL players, but Nate, if you're still watching, any thoughts on that? I mean, we can just kind of see what happens there. I don't know. I'm distracted from this new comment. Can I get in the podcast? Sorry, I didn't put the link in. Yes, you can call in. I'll put the stream link in the chat now. I'll let these guys first, though, as we head to week 14. We can break down this Thursday night game between the Packers and the Lions in their NFC North division. A pretty hard one to pick, if I'm being honest. So, Rat, I don't know if you know, we just pick against the spread every game, tally your record. I will say the benchmark for guests on the stream, we had Mark join us one week. He went 9-6. So if you could beat him, you could become the best guest or one-time appearance. We'll see what happens. So anyone want to jump in here, or if not, someone?
I would do anything for 9-6. A 9-6 week.
I know, dude.
That's insane. I'll take 8-7. I have 7-8. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Actually, you need a percentage. Sorry to jump in because I think that was like a full week. Because this week there's a lot of teams on bye. There's maybe like 12 or 13 games this week.
Yeah, short slate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it. I've just been on the Packers pretty much all year, and kind of difficult to go with them now. But it's a divisional game. I know they're on the road, but I don't know. I think the Packers. I like the hook at 3.5. I can definitely see this being a 3-point loss by Green Bay, but I just hope it's an entertaining game. Honestly, I might not. I have one of my Focus 5 that's not really team oriented. It's more player props, but I just hope it's a good game Thursday night. Should be the game of the week. If not, that Chargers Kansas City game. But yeah, I'm kind of just gonna feel it out. Maybe live bet depending upon how the game goes.
So who'd you say you're taking?
Packers plus 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a Thursday night game that I'll actually watch. This is gonna be fun. I agree. Like, this is such a hard game to pick. On one hand, it's like I gotta go with the home team, especially the Lions. Home is crazy, but they only had 3.5. It's like it could be 3. I'm gonna take the Lions here. If I was gonna make a bet, it would be Lions money line, but my official pick will be Lions minus 3.5.
So you guys are both going with the Lions. I'm taking the Lions as well. I can't like comprehend what Lindbergh chose. So did he choose the
You took
Lions?
the Packers.
I went Packers plus 3.5.
I'm taking the Lions minus 3.5. I just think, I've been trying to take the Lions to be this bad team, but them at home, I'm just liking their vision or liking the way they've looked so far. I'm just distracted by the checks. We have a caller on the line, and we also have more comments to get to. So I'm taking the Lions 3.5 Thursday night football. I don't know. I don't trust the Packers in this spot. We saw what happened the first time they met in Green Bay. Not much has changed for me on that end. I think the Lions will end up winning this division, one loss. So we'll see what happens. Now, welcoming to the show, first-time caller.
What's up, McGann? What's up, Rat? And the other co-host.
The other co-host.
The disrespect.
All right. I want to get off topic here. College football playoffs. We have the rate. Actually, rankings are coming out in 3 minutes. Top 3. Everyone's top 3 right now.
It's going to be Oregon 1. 2, I assume, would be Penn State, and then 3.
No, Texas.
Texas. Yeah, you're right. Texas 2, and then Penn State 3. Yeah. I feel like that's like the least exciting part to watch. It's the top 3 for the college football playoff. I feel like you'd.
All right, I was trying to make it easier. All right. So like, what top 5, top 10?
All right, we're not.
We don't got time
10.
for that.
Gotta run through
top 5. Or no. All right. Number 12. Who's number 12? Is
Miami.
12.
Nah.
Fuck the SEC, Miami. To you.
It's gonna be Bama.
ACC pride.
Exactly. All right. Anything that actually relates to NFL or?
The Giants fucking suck. I fucking hate the NFL. Yeah, that's really it.
All right.
Oh.
Thanks.
Nice talking to you, Greg.
Yeah, nice talking
Good to
to
see you, Greg.
guys.
If you have anything
I'll call
else,
it next show again.
all right. Feel free to pop in next time with more related content.
I'm sure the
Okay.
viewers love that. I hate the NFL, and this is an NFL gambling podcast.
I did used to combine the college and the NFL, so
Yeah,
can't
fair.
blame 'em.
It would just take forever.
We'll see what happens with rankings coming out in 2 minutes. I can report back if people care. I doubt they do. So we'll get into the first 7 o'clock, according to our caller. First game on the docket for 1 p.m. Sunday. We have the New York Jets visiting Miami. Dolphins coming off that Thursday night loss off a long week, -6. So, Cam, why don't you lead us off here, Cam L, because I have a feeling the way you're going on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be Dolphins -6. Don't really see any shot at the Jets cover. I know it's a divisional game, but it's also in Miami, which I think favors Miami more than it does the Jets, based off weather, and then also you got the home crowd. But I don't know. This Miami team's actually looked relatively decent. I know that Packers game wasn't what they hoped on Thanksgiving, but they think they still have a shot at making the playoffs. I think it's between them, the Colts, and the Broncos for that last spot. So, and obviously, if they're going to get there, they're going to need to win games like this. So hopefully they can take care of the Jets for us, but we'll see.
Yeah, I gotta go Dolphins -6 too. I mean, when I see that initially, my dumb gambling brain is like, oh, the Jets can keep it kind of close, a divisional game, but the Jets are horrible. The Dolphins are actually a good team. They have their ups and downs, and I think if they have one of their downs, then they win and don't cover. But if they have an up game, they're going to beat them by a lot.
Fair.
Yeah, unfortunately for the podcast's sake, I'm taking the Dolphins as well. I guess it's good for all of us to be in agreement, but it's better when we have disagreements. But I like the Dolphins here -6. I think the Jets are drawing dead. I think the allure of them being like, oh, +6, they can come and cover this game is over. Like, we know that they're just a bad team, and they're just I wouldn't be surprised if Rodgers is kind of actively tanking a little bit. I don't know, just to maybe get a better draft pick or something. I doubt that's in his nature, but maybe something to keep an eye on. yeah, Dolphins get back spot after that loss last week. They're trying to be in that number 7 conversation. I think they could do it. This is at home. I think this is kind of like not a must win, but like should win if you want to be considered a serious contender for that last playoff spot or last 2 playoff spots. I don't know how the records are looking right now, but I'm liking the Dolphins as well. So group ride on the Dolphins -6. Next game, we head to Minnesota. Kirk Cousins' revenge game. I just realized heading back to Minnesota for the first time since signing with the Falcons. The Vikings get 5.5 at home. Yeah, I'll start this one out. I'm taking the Vikings because the Falcons are banned to me. So probably the Falcons will somehow win this game or cover. But I don't know. The Vikings, I'm ready to say they're a good team. I'm ready to ban the ban the Falcons for all eternity. And that defense, if the freaking Chargers are getting 4 picks off Kirk, this defense might get 7 interceptions. I don't care about Bijan Drake London had a really good game. I don't think it matters much. I'm trusting this Vikings offense. Jefferson isn't scored in a while. I know, Cam, you've been kind of harping on that or trying to capitalize on that, but I don't know. I think this could be a big Jefferson game. The Falcons, I don't think they have really a great defense in Minnesota too. Obviously it's a dome there, but I like the Vikings to cover this 5.5. I think they can win this game by 7 to 10 points. So will you guys be fading my hate for the Falcons? Or are you riding with 10-2 Vikings?
Unfortunately, I mentioned earlier that I'd be probably going against you on every Falcons, but I'm going to stick with I'm also not a fan of this Falcons team, and you already kind of went through the logic, but I like Minnesota at home -5.5. Not trying to overthink it. I just want to pick the better team who's going to win this at home. So don't really think I need to overanalyze anything else.
I'm going with Falcons here. I think they probably lose. I think they probably lose, and they maybe cover a little bit. I mean, Vikings, they like to keep things a little fun, you know? The Cardinals game, they're just messing with us. I'm probably going to be betting Falcons money line this weekend.
I have a feeling this is like a you like that kind of game where Kirk just goes fucking off.
Well,
and
the thing is,
the Vikings on the road.
It's dead obvious. Like as soon as they say they're banned, the Falcons will win this game by like 9 points somehow. Like it's gonna be like the worst Vikings performance of the year, and the downfall that I've been waiting for the Vikings is gonna happen against the team I banned. Like this just makes perfect sense. But logistically, like I can't take the Falcons, so I'm taking the Vikings.
The Falcons have a good offense. I mean, when they get Bijan going and Kirk's not throwing the worst pick six you've ever seen in your life, they can have games where they look really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Both those games against the Bucs, they're good.
That's why I like to pick them a lot, but we saw that one.
Yeah.
All right. So
I probably bet on them like 10 out of 12 weeks. So I know the pain here.
So I said for these games between meaningless teams, we can kind of just keep it moving unless you think this is like a really good gambling opportunity. Personally here, I'm going with the Saints -5. Giants haven't showed me anything in the past 2 weeks that makes me think any different. I think the Saints at this point are a little bit better than the Cowboys. So I'm with the Saints -5. Even on the road, the Giants at home have not been good. So Rat, we'll go to you.
I'm with you there. The current line is -4.5.
My bad.
Just wanted to let you know.
Still would take the Saints
even more. Yeah.
I'm going the opposite. I kind of what you said about the Giants and how they haven't shown you anything to prove that. I'm the same way with the Saints team. I'll take the home team in this, getting 4.5 or 5, depending upon whatever we use. Give me the Giants. But other than that,
I just think the Giants are horrible. And who do they have? Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock. Those guys suck.
Drew Lock scares me a little bit because it's like first game at home. Maybe he does something like I don't know. But if it's DeVito, like hammer the Saints. Like the Saints have proven that they blew out the Browns. Granted, that was at their home, but I like the Saints in this game. We don't need to.
The Saints haven't proven anything, but the Giants have proven that they're absolutely horrible. That you should never put money on them.
The Saints have proven they can win in spots. I mean, they beat the Falcons, which that was actually a game I was right about. The Saints beating the Falcons. They beat the Browns. They last week almost beat the Rams. I think they've been okay. We'll keep moving. This one Cam's been alluding to a lot. The biggest spread on the board, 12.5 for the Eagles at home. I think I've been giving my picks first. So, Rat, you want to start us off on this one? 12.5. Where does your head
I
land?
have no idea. Whenever I see a line that's 12.5, it just completely ruins my brain. I have no idea what to think about it. The Eagles are like this year. I don't believe in them for some reason. They've won how many games in a row? Have they won like 9? 8.
Yeah.
I
Something like
just
that,
don't
yeah.
believe in them for some reason, and I also think the Panthers are still horrible. I'll take the Panthers here. I'll take the Panthers. I'll let Cam talk about it. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, give me the Panthers. Kind of been harping on it. Eagles like to play their competition. I also just like these massive spreads in general. Give me the dog plus 12.5. I know it's at home in Philly, but I don't know. I like this Panthers team and how they've been playing in recent weeks. Not saying that they could win this game outright, but I think they can keep it within at least 10 points. Never mind 12. So yeah, give me the dog in this.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Panthers, Eagles. I just looked have won 8 in a row. I think this game will be maybe like a sleep game for them. I'm not sure what they think about the Panthers, but I don't know. I'm with you, Rat. I think that the Eagles are kind of like on too high of a horse meat right now. Maybe we just have that feeling of last year, like how they started off so well, then just completely collapsed, and all of a sudden they're just like good again this year. But I'm kind of thinking this is like one of those teams from the Carson Wentz days when they won the Super Bowl. Like they're just really good all regular season. Only a couple of losses, and we're just, I mean, that's that same team besides last year when they had that breakdown. So I do like the Panthers to cover this game though, 12.5. My running through line in these pods, I always take the big spreads mostly, unless it's like a situation where I don't see it. I mean, this Panther team's been playing better. I think it's going to be a really like run game. I think this could be a low scoring game. Chuba's been playing well. Obviously, Saquon's maybe in the MVP race. So I think there's going to be a lot of running in this game, a lot of long time of possession. So I think that leans in the favor of the Panthers covering 12.5. So I'm with you guys there on Panthers 12.5. Now, what I was going to say before is we have, I think, 2 or 3 matchups this week that happened already like 2 weeks ago. So it's like a short circle there coming back to this one. This one was that Thursday night game in the snow 2 weeks ago. So that was in Cleveland. This one's in Pittsburgh. Steelers get 7 points at home. Browns on a short week playing Monday Night Football. So, Cam, do you want to jump us off here? You're a
Yeah.
big Steelers guy.
Yeah, I've kind of been with them. And I know I picked them in the last matchup, but I definitely like them to split this series. And I think this is just a more natural kind of game. Like it's not prime time Thursday night, the only game of the night, the sickly low scoring, and then the snow. I think it's just going to be obviously cold in Pittsburgh, but I think this is get like absolutely fucking annihilate Jameis Winston, kind of put him to bed and shut him up for the rest of the year. I think the Steelers should get 2 picks, but yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers -7.
Rat, do you agree, or are you heading with Jameis to eat a W?
I think we're eating a W this weekend.
All
I think the
right.
Browns are a team. I think the Browns are a team where you can't even bet on them to cover +7. You have to just take a money line. Like either you're taking
Fair.
Steelers -7 or you're taking Browns money line. I don't know. I feel like the Steelers are just such a sad team. Like they're a good team, but it's like, oh, you're so boring. Like I guess maybe they're not boring, but like when I just think about the Steelers, I'm just
It's
like I'm
more old
bored.
school. You're right. No, they like to
But
run the
when I
ball and then play
well, no,
defense.
Russ has been playing well and he's been throwing dimes to his fellas, and I don't know. The Browns are just like so much fun, and you got Jameis throwing picks and like if they get into a crazy dogfight game, they're gonna end up winning it. That's all I'm thinking. That's kind of my hope for this game. I guess I'll take the Browns. I would advise anyone to take the Steelers. It's so obvious, but if you want to have some fun in your life, take the Browns.
So this week for me has been a lot about my own personal narratives about teams. I think it's a lot of testing of what I've thought about a lot of teams. And I'm trying to turn a corner this week and just admit that the good teams are good and, like back these teams that really only have a couple losses. So I'm taking the Steelers -7. I do like this one specifically, though, over the other like kind of revenge picks I've had, just due to this being a game that happened 2 weeks ago. This Browns got that upset. I believe, this is I know this is a very close divisional matchup, but I think there was some extra stuff said and done in that Thursday night game. I wasn't able to watch it because I was at the Syracuse game, basketball game, but I think there's going to be a ass kicking in this game. I think the Steelers could win this game by like 21 or something, especially if the weather's really good. I think that defense is, they haven't really lost a lot of pieces. TJ's still healthy. Minka, like they have the guys that can just shut down Jameis completely. And even if on those 3 or 4 plays where Jameis just decides to be like old Jameis, they're going to capitalize on it. So I think the Steelers could run away with this game pretty easily. I understand the 7 divisional matchup, but I think Vegas might be overlooking the Steelers like revenge factor in this. I'm on the Steelers -7 for this one. Continuing on, we have Inter conference matchup between the Raiders and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers coming home after, I believe, 2 away games where they were facing the Giants and the Panthers. They face the Raiders now this week, so really kind of a light schedule for the Buccaneers. I mentioned before I like their future bets to win the division, but what is your guys' take on Raiders plus 6.5? They don't get the 7. Rat, we'll start with you. We haven't heard your thoughts on the Raiders at all. What do you think of this Raiders team? They seem to kind of have like a close spread throughout the year. Vegas kind of likes them, maybe a little hometown cooking. But what's your take on this game and also the Raiders team?
The Raiders aren't good. They play the Chiefs hard like everyone else does, but I don't think they're good. Give me the Bucks here. Baker's my favorite player to watch this year. He's so much fun. And I think this week they actually kind of charge forward. They haven't been playing well lately, but this week I think they pounce on them.
Yeah, I think it's a get right spot, especially playing a divisional matchup pretty close last week. I think they definitely, and same thing on the Raiders side, I think they didn't really play that well. It was just kind of a weird circumstance, divisional matchup on Black Friday. Definitely shouldn't have been in that game, but they were. I think there's kind of more reality setting in. I think Tampa blows them out. And I completely agree with you. I think Baker's been electrifying ever since he's gone to Tampa. And there's an easy team to root for. And as Dub said, if they're going to make a playoff push coming out of that division, they're going to need to beat up on teams like Vegas going towards the end of the season. So give me the Bucks minus 6.5.
I'm with you guys as well. Bucks to me have been a really strong team in the past couple of weeks. I mean, last week they proved a lot coming back and winning that game after kind of like a gut-wrenching away kind of position. What was I going to say? Oh, 2 weeks ago, they had that Giants win where they just showed up to New York, just fucked the Giants up, then left. Like, I think this could be a similar situation. The Raiders are kind of playing on emotions after that close game against the Chiefs. Raiders, to me, I don't know. I just don't love them at the spread really at all. Bucks are still that same team, basically, that made the playoffs last year, made a kind of good run in the playoffs. No Godwin,
Is
obviously.
Godwin supposed to? I was just going to ask, when is he supposed to come back, or is he out for the year?
I think he's done for the year.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe he makes like a run in the play, like maybe he comes back in like the second round of the playoffs if they make it that far. But I think Mike is enough. I mean, they have that 3-headed running back group right now. Bucky's been playing out of his mind. Rashad White's been able to continue doing what he's doing. Sean Tucker from Cuse is kind of doing everything. So I like this Bucks offense. They still have Todd Bowles, who's a defensive guy. Seems like that defense is playing well too against lesser competition. And yeah, Raiders, I'm not with it. I do like Aiden O'Connell and what he's been able to show the last couple of weeks, but it's not enough for me to pick them in less than a touchdown. So we'll all pick the Bucks for this one. Now we have the I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Mac Jones game, assuming from this line that it will be a Mac Jones game, and also considering Trev's probably concussed to high hell. So the Titans, a team who has received this hook before in spots, I think against the Patriots. They had the same line at home. Now welcome a Jacksonville team coming off that Texans loss last week. I'll start this one out. I'm taking the Jags plus 3.5. I mentioned before, they're that team that has really been able to cover the spread for me. And I don't know, a team that I can kind of blindly trust to get it done. I think even if they lose this game, it'll be like a 17-14 game. I think this may be lower scoring. I think this is one of the lowest over-unders on the board. I believe it's like 39.5, something like that. But Mac really turned a corner with that Jaguars team. Maybe he found something last week. I mean, they don't really have a lot of targets besides Evan Ingram and Brian Thomas, but hoping he can, put up a fight. And I don't know if you've been closely following Rap, but on this podcast, we have a strict fade the Titans rule. They were banned about 10 weeks ago. So up to you if you want to abide by that rule, but I'm taking the Jags here plus 3.5. Cam, I'm assuming you're doing this.
Yeah, you continue.
Give me the Jags plus the points. I actually like this. I like the Jags to win outright. We'll get into that later in the Focus 5, but like Dub already said, Tennessee ultimate ban list. I've been anti them the entire season, and divisional matchup. Even if the Jags lose, I think it's within 3 points. I think Mac Jones gets it done. So give me the dog plus the points.
Yeah, I think I bet on the Titans spread the first 6 weeks of the year, and I kind of self-banned them, and then I watched your podcast like a week later, and I was like, oh, good for them. They hate the Titans too. But I'm taking the Titans here. I mean, this game sucks.
Yeah,
this game sucks. They're minus 3.5. In what world are they minus 3.5? They shouldn't be minus 3.5 ever against anyone. I don't know. I guess I'd just taken the Titans -3.5 because why are they -3.5? That doesn't
That
make
was
any
my
sense.
logic against the Packers, and then Malik Willis that blew
But
up. in my
that logic last year gets you like a 70% win rate. This year, that logic just doesn't work. This game, I can't believe it so much, so I'm
Yeah.
taking it. But
This year, it's like all the good teams are actually good and can just cover the spread. It's very chalky.
I don't know how that happened. I don't know why that's happening this year. I don't know how Vegas is consistently making money. It doesn't make
I don't
sense
know
to
if
me.
they
but
are.
They
It
are.
seems like on a week-to-week basis, like if you just pick all the favorites, like you do pretty well. Like if you just took all the favorites at the spread, maybe not at the spread, but I don't know. I think the Jags could be a nice play. We'll talk about that maybe later in the Focus 5. How many 4:00 games? Do we have 3 4:00 games as well this week?
Yeah, I think so.
3 4 o'clock games.
Yeah, so this starts us out. Interdivision matchup, another one that we saw 2 weeks ago. Cam, we can jump to you here. I have a feeling what you're taking on
Yeah.
this one. Anti-Cardinals as well.
Yeah. I just hate the NFC West matchups, honestly. I think I dislike betting these games more than the fucking Titans. Like, it's actually, I mean, the Titans aren't that bad because, like, I usually just pick against them and they're fine. But I don't know. This Cardinals team, I've just been anti them. But divisional game at home, I don't know. And especially coming off a loss, and the Seahawks with a massive win against the Jets, I think is a get right spot for the Cardinals. I know it's uncharacteristic for me to take them, but I'm going to go with the home team -2.5.
I gotta agree with Cam there. I think the Cardinals are just a better team. They're more fun. The Seahawks are so boring. Kyler Murray's another guy where you can just watch him play, and it's so much fun to watch Kyler play. I don't know why they've been shit on the past few years. Like every year, it's like they're projected to win 4.5 games, and it's like why? Whenever
I just
Kyler's
think
out
they're the
there,
most. I think they're the definition of inconsistent football. Which,
yeah,
sure, it can be fun, but so is watching Jameis Winston throw 2 fucking
yeah,
picks. That's not.
yeah.
I don't like that kind of fun. I like the kind of fun of where you're consistently making me money, and they've been the exact opposite for me. So the Cardinals are very much similar to Dub and the Falcons, in my book, but. I don't know. I'm going with them. We'll see how it goes. They might be on my ban list after this week, but we'll see.
Yeah, the Cardinals are kind of a coin flip team.
So
I'm gonna
2
take
weeks
the
ago,
Cardinals though.
2 weeks ago, you guys both took the Cardinal, or Cam and Mikey both took the Cardinals. I switched and took the Seahawks. I didn't know what to take. This was another hard one for me to pick. I wrote down Cardinals. I think I'm gonna stick with it. I think this flips. I think this is an easy one to say. Like at the end of the year, Seahawks 1-1, Cardinals 1-1. Like it was just kind of like two middle tier NFC West teams who just won at home when they played each other. Cardinals coming off that tough loss last week. The Seahawks have won 2 or 3 straight at least. I think this is kind of a letdown spot for them. I don't think they're as good as their record indicates. So I think this just heats up that NFC West battle even more. So we'll see what happens with that. I got the Cardinals as well. So all of us on Cardinals -2.5. Now to the next 4:00 game, we have the Bills heading cross coast nope, they're on a regular week, but they're facing the Rams at home, who are +4.5. Rat, why don't you jump us off on this one? What do you see in this one? Rams +4.5 at home against the
Yeah,
Buffalo
I
Bills.
don't think the Rams are that good. I don't know why they're only +4.5. This is kind of another team where it's like I don't really care to watch them that much. Matt Stafford, I think, is kind of lost in a bit. He's a little older. I don't know why they're only +4.5. My gut would be take the Bills. I'll just take the Bills because this is the 2024 NFL season, and the Bills are just going to win this game.
Yeah,
I
give
mean,
me
the
Bills -4.5. Easy. I don't really have much logic. I mean, you guys heard me talk ad nauseum about how much I hate the NFC West. I don't care if they're at home. This Bills team is just much better. I know the 4.5 is a little tricky of a line, but I could see Buffalo absolutely annihilating them on the road. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not really going to overthink it.
I'm overthinking it. I'm taking the Rams. I think.
Yeah, give me the Rams too. Give me the Rams too. The Bills are going to win by 3.
I think in every slate we have, there's a couple rats in there. I think this is one of them. Like the 4.5. I think sometimes, I mean, they try to tell you a story all the time, but sometimes it actually works, especially in the season where it's been like, oh, the Bills are just good, so they're just going to win this game by 7 or 10. I had to pick one of my teams to keep a narrative against. I'm taking the Bills on they have to cross coast. I don't know. I think Josh Allen just got engaged. I'm just coming up with reasons here. I don't know. I think the Rams are good though. I do like the Rams in spots. Like I think McVay's a better coach than Sean McDermott. I don't like their defense that much, but I think this could be a close game. Maybe like a 24-27 type Bills win, or even the Rams pull off a win. I'm not confident enough to take the Rams money line, but 4.5, give me the Rams in this one. So final 4:00 game of this week, we have the Bears coming off that Thanksgiving loss, heartbreaking loss to the Lions. They head to San Francisco, who also had a very heartbreaking loss in a different fashion, losing McCaffrey and Jordan Mason for long term. So on this game, I'm also using reverse logic. I'm taking the Bears +4. Granted that they also just fired Matt Eberflus. You have the new head coaching boost. I think this, even in Bears, like worst case scenario, I think they lose this game by a field goal. Like Mark has said in the podcast, like we said earlier, talking about the 49ers just might not be good this year. So I'm taking the Bears +4. They looked a lot better on offense. I think that maybe with new coaching, new air around the building, like things can change. I mean, they had a long week to discuss it as well, with Eberflus being fired on Friday. So hoping Caleb can turn it around. I like Caleb. I'm hoping he can be good. We need more good quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'm taking the Bears +4. Not Seahawks. 49ers season's dead to me anyways, so this doesn't matter as much anymore. I don't think they're going to do anything with their team. I don't think they're going anywhere, so I'm taking the Bears +4. Rat?
I agree. The 49ers have been letting up a lot of points lately, and Caleb Williams is a guy that can kind of get hot. Like, if they keep this close, Caleb Williams is going to end it in the fourth quarter. I'll take the Bears here. I think the 49ers are actually just not good.
Yeah, I think you guys touched upon everything. I'm going the same side, Bears plus the points. I know it's on the road, but you got the new head coaching boost. Kind of talked about the injuries. San Fran just looks dead. I know this is like a must. I mean, we've been saying it for the past couple of weeks that every 49ers game is a must win. I mean, this is the definition of must win. I think the Bears kind of put them to bed, and they might win this game outright. Never mind cover the 4. But yeah, I think we're going to go team right on that, on the Bears.
It's a little scary. It's a little scary how in agreement we all are here. We've had a lot.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we say that, and sometimes
games.
we do well, but sometimes it doesn't go well.
Yeah. I mean, we've been
week's
above
tough.
500. I think every single week we've all been above 500 except one.
Besides, like the last.
And that's that week. Yeah, we got fucked on. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think we were all below 500.
I mean, it's like it's any week I'm expecting the Demons to come out and we just do horrible, but like it hasn't really happened that much so far. So, I mean, We'll see. I mean, we have enough variance that we could all do well. So we'll see. 2 games left on docket. Sunday Night Football. Mr. Harbaugh. One of the Mr. Harbaughs heads to Kansas City. Chiefs -4. Have these teams played yet this year?
I don't think so.
I think they
I
might
don't remember.
have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they haven't.
I'm doing this on my phone if one of you want to look it up.
I'm looking it up. The Chiefs lost. The Chiefs beat the Chargers 17-10 in week 4.
Okay.
Interesting.
In Los Angeles too.
In Los Angeles. 17.
So, curious to hear your thoughts, Cam, on this one. Chiefs -4. Obviously, we haven't been a huge fan of the Chiefs at the spread this season, just due to their nature of how they win. So, do you like them at 4 here, basically giving you the touchdown, or a couple other?
4's a weird number. I typically don't like betting the Chiefs on the spread, and I think I'm going to remain with that logic. I've definitely been more on the Chargers in more recent weeks, and I think they kind of proved something with that win last week without JK. I know that they won't have him again this week, but I don't know. I also typically like in those divisional matchups where they split. And seeing how Kansas City won the first time, I think the Chargers are a much better improved team. And even if they do lose, I can definitely see it being kind of a ground and pound, low scoring game, and they cover the 4. So I'm going to go with Harbaugh and the Chargers on this one.
I'm gonna go the opposite there.
All right,
I think the Chiefs play well this week. They have kind of a little bit of a mini bye almost. This divisional game. It's Sunday night. Taylor's gonna be out. Everyone's gonna be out. Everyone's gonna be watching. I think the Chiefs show up. I think the Chiefs have gotten better throughout the year. Really, I don't think they were good at all. Like the first 5 weeks, they just happened to win every single game. I think they've been getting better and better, which is really scary and really annoying. And I think the Chargers are a little fraudulent. I think you see Harbaugh and you see like a good defense and you think, oh, this team's so sexy. But I don't know. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm also an idiot. Don't take the Chiefs.
So I had the Chargers written down. I'm kind of questioning this pick, but I'm gonna stick with the Chargers. I think this could be like a field goal game, low scoring. That's kind of prime time. We've kind of alluded to that in the pod the whole year too. Like the prime time games are very close. I think especially these two teams playing in prime time. Seems like the Chiefs and like any division games on prime time always end close. Especially the Chargers. Seems like the Chargers whenever they play prime time is just a close game. I do kind of agree that the Chargers are a little bit fraudulent. I'm not sure what really they're going to be in the grand scheme of the season, but I do like them enough to like keep pounding the rock. Like obviously they don't really have a ton of offensive weapons besides that, but they have Herbert. Like I think Herbert's shown in the past he can keep up with Mahomes. I think he can do that in this game. I don't know. I don't think Taylor being there will affect it. She seems to be at every fucking game. But I don't know. I didn't even realize Pacheco was back last week. I'm interested to see if he's going to be a big part of this game because I'm assuming it's going to be a big running the football game. But I like the Chargers +4, spice it up for prime time. Maybe even win this game. I don't think the Chiefs are going to end the season with one win. Like it's absurd to me how many teams have one or two losses, and it's like seemingly just every week they just keep winning and covering spreads. So I'm taking the Chargers +4. Now we head to Monday night. They switched this year. You could flex Monday night, but apparently they didn't flex this one because we have the Simpsons cast that has already been in the works for weeks.
Fucking dumb.
So they can't switch this. So we have the Cincinnati Bengals, awful loss, heading to the Dallas Cowboys on a 2-game win streak in Jerry World. Cowboys 5.5-point underdogs at home. So does that jump out to anyone, or are we sticking with the Bengals? I'll start it off. I'm taking the Bengals -5.5. I declared the Bengals season dead, but when you compare this Bengals team to this Cowboys team, it's night and day. I think the Bengals are just a lot better team. I mean, you could get the primetime thing where the Cowboys just decide to be good, but I think they had a Monday night game against the Texans. What is that, 2 or 3 weeks ago? Got blown out. I think a similar thing could happen here. I don't see the Cooper Rush being able to keep up with Burrow, who seemingly even course through the Bengals defense like butter. So I like the Bengals to cover this. I think they can win this game by a lot of points. I'm taking the Bengals -5.5. Cam, you were nodding in agreement.
Yeah, not much more to add. Probably my least favorite game to bet on. That in the Seattle Arizona game. I might not even fucking watch this on Monday night. This is just so gross. But for betting purposes, yeah, give me the Bengals for the reason I think they can just outscore the Cowboys. So I'll take them -5.5.
Right.
I agree with you guys there. Normally you see a home team that's +5.5 against a team who's like got the same record as them, and you just slam the home team. But I don't know. I think the Bengals, I still have blind faith in them, even though they're 4-9 or whatever, 4-8.
This Cowboys team is just awful to watch.
They're
too.
so bad.
Just
I don't know who their quarterback
so
is.
deflating.
Cooper Rush.
Yeah, Cooper Rush.
And you're saying this after they got 2 wins in a row. What does that tell you?
2 wins in a row. What were the 2 wins? The Giants and who?
The Commanders.
The Commanders. The Commanders was a good win, but that was a division game, you know.
That was just a really wonky game,
Cowboys and Indians. Yeah.
All
right, Andrew Jackson.
It's an old school thing. 5.5's a lot, but give me the Bengals. Take the Bengals money line and just sit there and collect your money. The spread's a little bit high, but take the Bengals money line to all of our 2 or 3 viewers out there.
Right. All right. So now we head to our Focus 5. Rat, you've prepared your favorite 5 picks of the week?
I have.
All right. Awesome.
I've been preparing.
So quickly, we'll run through the last week. So Cam, 3-2. We've been doing pretty bad on the Focus 5, so good to see you in the positives there. I was 2-3. I've been taking a little bit more risky bets, so 2 wins. I did make money last Sunday. Michael, donut hole, 0 for 5. Unfortunately, he's not here to face the music. We'll have to get him next time, but there's been a lot of zeros between us, so I hope we can at least pull out some picks this week. On the year to date, Cam, you're 14-36. Michael's 13-42, so you've now jumped ahead of him on that percentage as well. And I'm 29-34-1. Obviously, Rat, this will be your first Focus 5, so we'll cut to you with your favorite 5 picks of the week. You may be as dangerous as you want to, or be as straight. I mean, straight picks. I've tried to tell these guys how you make money betting, but I've been met with.
Wait, so Focused 5. This isn't just like spreads. This isn't like our 5 favorite games.
You can
This
do
is
whatever you
just
want.
You can do whatever you want. I used to do spreads, but then every fucking week we get 2 touchdown scores and a money line out of them. So I was like, I guess I'll shake it
Yeah,
up a little
okay.
bit.
Because I was
Yeah.
confused because that was like they're 13 and 50 on spreads. Like, what does that mean?
No, we do these whack ass parlays.
Okay. Oh, shout out Dubcast, by the way. I lost every single one of my bets last weekend, but I took all of Dub's. I think was it your Focus 5 or your favorite 5
Yeah, I
or your
told you my focus
5
5
fire
team.
picks or whatever?
Yeah.
Which one of those ones? And I did a teaser with those, and that was pretty fun. That's the only reason I had money still. Yeah, you're gonna have to come back to me because I have some other things that I like, but I thought it was just spreads. So
I can go
I mean,
first
it
if
can
you
be
want,
just
Debbie.
spreads. It doesn't have to be like I used to do just spreads and then got shamed.
I don't
But
know.
you're probably not going to be on this podcast at least long term, so it doesn't matter that much.
We'll see what the fans say.
All right.
You want me to go first while he
We'll see what
continues to
yeah.
research?
So coming up
All right.
hot week, give us your focus 5 for week 14.
So it's definitely a more calmer parlay situation on my Focus 5. So we'll start with the Thursday night. As I mentioned previously, kind of foreshadowed that I wasn't really too confident in either team winning. I just hope for a good game. With that, I know Montgomery didn't score last week on Thanksgiving. I think he gets in the end zone. But I also like Josh Jacobs to score for Green Bay. I've been high on both of them to score and high on both of these teams. So in order to avoid picking a team, I think one of the better bets is to pick both of them to score in a parlay. For my second parlay, or second of the Focus 5, we've got a money line parlay. This is going to be a favorites money line. So we got the Steelers, Miami, and Buffalo. I mean, we obviously just ran through each game, but I feel like those are the 3 games I'm most confident in for those teams to win. And third, we're going with a little Charlotte kind of hometown parlay. Chuba didn't score last week, so I got him to score, and I'm going to take them plus 12. And if both of those things happen, I think the under is going to hit. I don't know what the under is currently, but whatever it is, I'm probably going to take it. I can just see this game being more of a dogfight than the Eagles actually predict. And like you said, they're both going to be 45 and a half. Perfect. Yeah. Let me just write that down to confirm. But I love the plus the points. And I think Cam mentioned if Carolina's plus 12 and they're going to cover that, it's probably going to be a low scoring game in general. So I like that. My fourth is going to be an underdog parlay. So all these teams are dogs, but I'm taking them in a money line because I have a funny feeling that they can actually win this game or win their respective games. So I got Green Bay money line to start, Jacksonville, and Chicago. And I think we all kind of were sketched out on those lines. I think we might have all taken the dogs, maybe not that Detroit game. But I don't know. I can see all 3 of those teams winning, and I just think that creates a lot of value with 3 teams at plus points in a parlay. Then my last one is going to be the Sunday night game. I hope it's a good game. I'm just going to take the Chargers money line. I think you'll create a little bit of value there. With Dobbins out, I don't really know of a touchdown scorer I feel pretty confident in. I have been liking Herbert recently, but I'm just going to kick my feet back, keep it a little bit more chill on Sunday, and do Chargers money line.
Nice.
Dub, you got to change these standings up. I mean, he just did a parlay that was plus 1,800. That can't go on as one loss, you know?
I
That's
said
point,
I've
that's
it's I
0.06 of a
we've
loss.
I like
he
to
gives the
create value.
disclaimer that his picks are a little out there. Then people know, like, if you probably bet all of
This
Cam's
14 and 36 is so fraudulent. I mean, if even one of those plus 1,700
they
picks
cover a
hits,
lot.
I just learned last week that no one even
31.
bets in the Focus 5 besides me. So I don't know if
I
they
do
would
on
make
some of them, not all of them.
some of them. Whatever. It's okay. Disclaimer to the viewers: the 14-36, you probably would be in the
Means
green right
nothing
now.
at all.
I mean, it means something. That's just picks you've lost. Like, I don't know. Depends on your
Okay,
unit.
I'll take the Eagles money line, and who else is extremely favored? That's super boring. So I can be 5-0. Ravens versus the Giants in 2 weeks. I'll take the Ravens money line.
You can give
All
future,
right,
you can give future picks. Mark has 3 future picks pending.
put the Ravens to beat the Giants in 2 weeks on my card off a bye. I think they're hot there. Good to get that one in. All right. The only over I was going to switch one of these to an over, and I wanted to take the over in the Eagles Panthers game, but Cam kind of convinced me not to. So I'm just going to stick with my straight bets, boring spreads. We talked about all these games, obviously, but I got Falcons plus 5.5, Saints minus 4.5, Bears plus 3.5 against the Niners, which is pretty ugly. Chiefs minus 3.5. And originally I had the Bengals, but after talking about that game, I kind of had to convince myself to bet on the Cowboys later. So I'm switching that up for Browns plus 7. Actually, no. You know what? In this fun atmosphere and what I said earlier, Browns money line. No plus 7.
I like
So
it.
that can go in as
Wow.
either 2 wins, or if it loses, either 2 wins, or we can say 1 win or half a loss, right? I
That'll
want
be
you to
left.
update these standings based on units, because I
Well,
feel
they
this
would
is
have
ridiculous.
nothing. Mikey would have 0 units. He doesn't bet.
Mikey
Yeah, but you
doesn't
pick
watch
a
any of
unit.
these games too. It's awesome. He legit just picks out of his ass. It's hilarious.
Well, you just took one of his famous parlays, the Chuba Panthers parlay.
I did, and that
I mean,
worked.
if Cam's bet is $10 to win $170,
Yeah.
that should go
Oh,
in.
yeah.
If that wins, then he's no longer 14-36. He's 31-36.
Well, I'll run the math by you next time I check the Focus 5. All right. So
Just saying,
thank you.
it's a little bit ridiculous.
I mean, I started this off with giving my 5 favorite picks against the spread and some over-unders every week, and then they came in and made all these like plus 9,000 parlays. Anyways, my Focus 5 of the week. I got a little mix of everything. So starting it off, I have a parlay as well. We got the teams facing my banned teams parlay. So we got Dolphins money line at home against the Jets. Kind of pseudo ban them. Vikings money line facing the Falcons at home, and Jags plus 7.5 facing the Titans. So that gives you plus 168. So decent little money play there. Second play we have is Jags money line, just straight up. Someone mentioned before, but 3.5 underdog as straight up money line should be a decent play for you there. Plus sign. I don't trust the Titans win this game at all. So then we have the cover confidence parlay, little teaser. Been doing that for a couple weeks. So we have the Rams plus 10.5. Pair it with the Bears plus 7.5. I think those are both pretty accomplishable. I don't know what the odds are on that. Maybe still a minus sign, but it'll be good odds. 2 overs, 2 4 o'clock overs. We have the Seahawks and Cardinals over 44.5. Last time they played, it was like 13-6. So I think it's going to shoot way over this time. Both have been shown to be pretty capable offenses, and I feel like in Arizona they score a lot. Bears 49ers over 44. 49ers offense has been a rut. Bears offense has been hot, so I think the Bears continue to stay hot, and the 49ers now in the warm weather in San Fran on their prime 4 o'clock window can show something with Kittle, Debo, whoever they play at running back, Garendo or whatever. I'm sure he'll be good. So I like both those overs in a parlay together. Last one, unfortunately, I bring back the touchdown parlay. Just this one you can just chalk up as a loss, but I have a different philosophy for this one. Picking one from each window on Sunday. We'll see how that goes. Could be just over immediately, but from the 1 o'clock window, I'm taking Kamara to score against the Giants. Giants defense has been pitiful. Kamara also didn't score last week. 4 o'clock, a little bit sketchy. This is the most sketchy pick of the 3. I'm taking Kupp to score against who are they playing? The Bills. I think that'll be a high score. I think it's the highest scoring over under there. So Kupp didn't score last week, kind of a low-key week last week. Puka scored last week, so I think Kupp gets on the board this week. And for the Sunday night game, Pacheco, we'll take Pacheco. He has not scored since he's been back, so I think he finds the end zone in a running strong game between the Chiefs and the Chargers. And also last leg, if this doesn't count, I'm not going to say it then because you guys will get mad at me, so I won't say it. But if you want to have
No, I want to hear it. Let's go.
if you want to have a DK stepped up, if you do 4, I'm going to take that 3. And I'm also going to take this 4. I'm going to add in Aaron Jones. Didn't score last week. So if you have DraftKings, you get the touchdown boost parlay. Maybe add in Aaron Jones, but that's not on the official picks. That's just a bonus.
I think Aaron Jones did score last week.
Did he? Did he catch a touchdown on the running?
I'm pretty sure he caught a touchdown. Yeah.
All right, I can look into that. So any final thoughts before we wrap up here? Cam, I can give you a college pick if you want. We have the championship games this week. I think Oregon, Penn State. Oregon's like minus 3.5.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk about
actually was. Go ahead, Cam.
Sorry, I was completely.
Just
No,
say whatever you're about to say after.
No, it's more important. It's more important. I'll say it later.
All right, go, Cam.
I was just gonna
Oregon
say,
3.5.
I heard about that line earlier today, and it doesn't make sense to me. I actually already placed a bet for Oregon minus a 3.5. I think it might be beneficial if they lose to be the 5 seed, but then you kind of just hope that they put you at the 5 as opposed to whatever seed. I think they just don't want to even get it up to chance. Just get the one, get your bye, and then you can hopefully continue to be down in the college football playoff. But I don't know. I'm going to take Oregon minus 3.5. Did the power rankings come out or the top
Yeah,
25?
it's just they're gonna let in Bama. Basically, that's all you need to know.
Figured. Hype.
I mean, there's more championship games if you want to give more picks quickly. Gut reaction: Georgia Texas rematch. Texas minus 2.5.
I love Georgia plus the 2.5. I haven't really done too much research on the matchups and the spreads, but if you're telling them to me, yeah, I definitely like Oregon minus the 3.5, and then Georgia plus the 2.5. I might do a little parlay for both of them just to win. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of this Texas team, even though their defense looks pretty good. I don't know. They keep it way too close in every single game that they play almost. And I just think Georgia's been playing relatively well. I mean, they've come off of some massive SEC wins. So I don't know. I like them to go to the championship, leaving no doubt, and they get their bye.
All right, last one, little ACC action. ACC Pride. Clemson heads, or I guess it's a neutral site. Clemson SMU minus 2.5.
I will be boots on the ground. Brett, I believe, is actually coming to watch this game. So I think we're gonna go, and I have a funny. What do you say the line was? SMU what?
Clemson plus 2.5. SMU minus 2.5.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm just gonna take Clemson money line. Honestly, not a massive fan of this SMU team. I think Clemson's just easy to root for. One of my buddies in Charlotte, their parents went to Clemson, so. And I don't really have a massive college team, seeing how I went to a school that didn't have one. And I don't know. I've
got a
always
game
just
tonight.
Hunted Michigan.
Most important pick, last pick, ECU, UNCW basketball.
Yeah, okay. I actually was going to take a money line. I saw it at plus 220, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to try and go to bed early. I just got back from my 2-week vacation, and I went to Vegas, Florida, and then back home. So I definitely need to kind of just chill out. So I'm probably just going to finish unpacking and then pass out around 9 o'clock. So might not catch it, but maybe I'll sprinkle UNCW money line. We'll see.
I like your picks, but I might flop and take Texas. Just think it's hard to beat a college team 2 times in a year. But I do like the Oregon and Clemson plays. So, Rat, you had something that was very important to say before we sign off?
Oh, no, it wasn't very important.
But
I know that you and your family, the Dubcasts, all of you guys are all big Ohio State fans, and I wonder what you have to say about my Michigan beating you for the 4th year straight.
Oh, yeah. I said it on the pod last week. I called Michigan money line. I had $10 to win 100 on that. It was so sick. Yeah, that was awesome. Immediately texted in our Dubcast group chat talking shit. Don't think Dub appreciated it, but
initial reaction, I was literally sitting on the gym floor watching. Ryan Day needs to be fired. There's a culture problem in the program. How do you lose to the same team 4 years in a row? This is the worst version of Michigan. 20.5 favorites. This is disgusting. I mean, this is a really weird spot now because you had all this momentum going into the playoffs, and now you just lose it because you can't beat your rival. It's Michigan owns them. They've beat them 4 times in a row. So something's got to change. I don't know if Day is going to, maybe he'll pull a Shaka Smart and take a lesser job or something, but something's got to change, man. I've seen enough of Ryan Day. It's been brutal. All 4 years my sister was at Ohio State, they lost every year to Michigan. So that about sums up.
Electric.
That about sums that up.
At least the bad luck charm.
So before we leave college football, shout out to Syracuse, big W over Miami, beating number 6 Miami. So, it wasn't a terrible day in the McGann house. After that Ohio State loss, we recuperated, went to Chili's, watched the end of the game at Chili's, QSW.
Nice.
So
electric environment. At
Fran
Chili's
Brown, let's go. We're ready. So any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, good luck to you boys. Hopefully this can be, I know it's a little shorter of a slate, but I think we made some solid picks. We're in agreement on a lot of them. So hopefully we all do well.
Rat, thanks for jumping in on very short notice.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
You joined the Mount Rushmore, or you are in the Mount Rushmore of amount of times in the pod. So always appreciate you jumping in. We'll keep your picks on record if anything were to come up again, or if you want to come back at any point. So besides that, more content on the channel, UFC picks coming up soon. UFC 310. You have something to say?
If I go 5-0, I get to come on whenever I want, and you have to show my comments.
Okay, I show every comment anyway. But you can call in whenever you want.
We have Colin I mean,
We just received
had
our
what's his
third
name,
ever call
Greg.
in from Greg this week. Maybe the worst of them all, and
Yeah,
pretty
what
Who
are
bad.
your
else
top
called in?
three?
Who else
Rank
has
your
called
top
in?
three.
Allie called in from like the Dunkin'
Mark.
parking lot to ask about Michigan State or Michigan Ohio State, and Mark has called in 2 times now to give his picks and also just criticize me. No, he didn't.
Also, you got to do better advertising. I never know when you're on.
I know. Well, it's like we don't. Cam's like it's like 4:30. I'm like, do you want to do it today? He's like, yeah, that'd probably be the best day to do it. These two don't answer text, so it's like also.
Dude, I asked you earlier if you want to do it today and didn't respond.
That's such. I
Don't
can pull
act
up the
like that's.
receipts. I
Pull
post
up
on
the receipts.
Do you do this on Instagram? Do you like give it?
I post on story, Instagram, and then I post when we're live. That's how most of the people know to come in. I really only one person that I know of like follows me on X avidly. I try to do the community post on YouTube as well to advertise. Besides that, I'm not sure how else. I'm not.
Well, I think it would be. I think it would be good marketing if you like go on social media and say like, "Hey, you can comment in and
I do say
call me dumb," you know.
Mikey out, question mark, and leaving suspense. Come join us at 6 p.m. for a weekly NFL stream recapping week 13 and predicting week 14. Taking calls and comments from viewers. Exclamation point.
Yeah, you need some better clickbait. But it's good to know that you're still advertising.
This is like the only thing I
there.
used Instagram for, really. Before we sign off, our fan Nate has been watching all along. He says
That's insane.
Another wonderful episode. Be easy. So with that, be easy.
Adios.
Be easy.